Cheers. Oh, hello, Desert Tigger. Hello, Eric S. What is up? Hello, the mother. But this took centuries. Habit cannot result in a couple of short years. Enjoy the dismantling. Be in gratitude. You're here to see it. The mother, it's just very tough when you're in the thick of it to think that way, especially when you're losing homes, cars. In a seed, good to see you. But you're right. We are tearing down something that took literally hundreds of years to build. Hello, Ellen. Hello, Sandy. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Susie. Daily Word. Biz. Hi to Sue. Hi to Sue. Hello, Five Line Trader. Buck Choi. Hello, Pittsburgh crew. James 72Z. Art. And the walls, let the walls of Jericho come crashing down. That's what we're watching. This is craziness to watch it live. Be a whole lot easier to watch the documentary instead of watching it this way. Fed Up Patriot, thank you very much for that super sticker. Exceptionally kind. Hello, Keith in Ipswich, Queensland, Australia. Cue Ball, K Fresh. That's right. Remember, when they're wanting you to look at the right hand, look to the left. That's what we're, God Almighty. Isn't that what we're watching right now? And oh, so much pressure to make it happen and keep us distracted. But in their desperation, they are making it so easy for us. When your enemy is absolutely killing themselves, when they're defeating themselves, you really should just sit back and let them do it, right? Maybe a little tweak here and there for fun. The evening of the 28th, credit union is closing until May 2nd for upgrades. No ATM, no mobile banking, check transfers in advance. David, all right, guys, how many of your banks have given you a similar timeline for some big upgrades coming where they are closing Friday of this week and reopening next week? All new systems, upgrades, whatever they're calling them. I think I've at this point 4 or 5 different actual screenshots of you guys as either emails, signs on bank doors, etc. Should have been saving those for a collage. What's up, Eli? Pickles, good to have you back. Hopefully you didn't have to run too quickly and you weren't carrying the scissors. Raz. I see Raleigh, North Carolina, checking in. Sven, how is life? Let's see. It's the teller at PNC when the new currency is coming out. She chuckled like I was stupid. And they're going to until it comes out, and then they're going to go, oh. It's inevitable at this point. Inevitable. Looks like Poe is totally trying to silence Trump. That's why they can down Bongino, Tucker Carlson. They won't stop what's coming. It is an all-out war, and we've got another Battlefront in that one. The desperation is fun to watch, as long as you don't let yourself get too alarmed, because in their desperation, they are showing you their hand. Man, we got so much to talk about today. Whoa. Your credit union did a full upgrade months ago and added wealth management services. I should probably warn you guys, if you want to be negative today, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm just going to start kicking you out of the room. In a week or two, you can ask nicely to come back. But there are too many people having a very tough time right now. They know what's going on. They know things are dragging. They know all that. They don't need your negativity. Life is already tough enough for many of them right now. It's not me trying to silence you. It's me respecting the majority and not putting you ahead of them. So it's probably a good heads up for you. I am not even going to question it. I'm not going to feel bad for it, and screw you if it upsets you. The Citadel Military College in Charleston, South Carolina, checking in. Laney, it's good to see you. Mark Riggles, good morning and thank you. So you've got your heads up. If you're just having a pissy day and you want to take it out on people in the room, I'm going to drop kick you and not think twice about it. Don't even ask for a week or two to come back and say, yo, I was just in a bad mood and somebody peed in my cornflakes. We know it's taking long. Eli, enjoy that round of golf. All right, we need to keep the vibes high. Exactly, keep the vibes high. We know we're in a hell of a battle. We know that, in the past they've kicked the can. We know all those things. We don't need you to point it out and make people suicidal. Kung Fu, right? Oh, I changed my name to Mark Lee. Darren. All right, I'm not going to beat my head on a wall on this one. This is what Mr. C keeps telling you about the funds that have been put together for backing those gold-backed currencies. That's why the Dragon banking families are so important. The Rodriguez Trust is so important. Dubai is so important. Germain is so important as a part of these. U.S. does have some gold and they have some resources, but the majority is being put up for the currency by others. Oh man, look at this. And this is exactly why I get frustrated, and this is why your negativity, while I appreciate it and many people are suffering, it makes it even tougher for these folks. You take the hope out of them. My brother and his 82-year-old wife have been living in their truck this winter. Every day is tough on them. The sooner this goes, the better for them. Can you imagine having to sleep in a truck when you're 82? 82. This is America. And then I had to listen to Joe Biden yesterday as he went on his tweet war and announced his presidency, that no American should have to live that way, especially our veterans. He has been crapping on them for decades. And now suddenly he's the champion. Like he cares that they've been out there homeless, sleeping on the streets, not getting the care they need. And he wants to blame it on the Republicans now that we've spent ourselves into oblivion and cuts have to be made. Oh boy, was I ticked yesterday. The entire rhetoric of this thing. Yeah, not buying that one. Okay, guys, I got to dive in. We got a lot to talk about. 2023 is set to have the highest AC bills this nation's ever seen, thanks to inflation, rising costs, and fossil fuels. Money-hungry energy company CEOs. The good news is that the Air Blast Pro is the solution to sky-high energy bills. The Air Blast Pro is a powerful, rugged, rechargeable, portable fan that helps keep you icy cool in any scenario and lasts a shocking 6 to 25 hours on a single charge. Best part is it comes with a full, the utility belt survival tools anyone could use in life-threatening scenarios, like a Type-C charging port to power other devices, an ultra-bright 3-level LED light, and a powerful rechargeable 7,800 milliamp battery that lasts up to 6 to 25 hours. Get the Air Blast Pro to stay cool in any scenario. Visit airblastpro.com or click the link down below in the description. Air Blast Pro for 66% off with express shipping and 100% lifetime guarantee replacement now. All right, let's get to it. 10:08, another minute or two. Hey, look, I'm killing it. There we go. Let's see. Hello, Ted. Our credit union dropped federal from its name. Probably a good idea. MAGA girl, let them. You only need so much currency, guys. Yeah, I'm a firm believer that many in the community have way overspent on currency. Pay the bills. You got to live in the now. Gary, I'll be living in my truck as of this coming Monday. At least it won't be as bad as doing it all winter. See, and this is the part why it drives me nuts whenever whenever we don't get it as quickly as we need it. We don't know what the plan's been all along. We know the outline, we knew the inevitability, but the timing. Cue the rooster. He's not out there on the wall. Rita, I've seen that one. Supposedly the ultimate off-grid generator plans. Anyone buy and make this? I can't find anybody that has. I can find a lot of debunking videos out there, but I don't know if it's because they want to keep you from getting power. I know that it works like a potato. I've seen the experiments. I've conducted some of the experiments for fun. Mr. Cantu, keep the faith, stay grounded, and be good neighbor. Our community will make a difference. Amen. All right, if you guys finished through the ads, done, ads done. All right. Hill City, the more they wait, the more I take. I'm with you, Hill City. I'm going to make them pay for every one of them. Every one of those times where we thought it was going, I'm going to make them pay by getting a little more, being a little better prepared. Yeah, we've got article from Salah. I've got that one, Noreen, from Nader. Jeremy, the big 32. All right, we got to dive in. We got a lot to talk about. Let me see if I can find all of the right buttons. The news time button, the news hat. See, now we're prepared, right? And here we go. Whoa. Bert, what's resignation letter all about? Resignation letter is our code for, hey, we're ready for this thing to be done so we can turn in our resignation letters. In other words, retire. I'm certain that's what they are referring to. Starseed, to see, I had to bail you out of YouTube jail again. And you're getting expensive. We got to work something out here. All right, I'm going to miss your questions for a while. Stop saying anything, all right? I won't be able to read it. Synergy Show, said a wise financial guy I know, says crash would be on Monday, Black Monday, historically and for other related reasons. Yeah, we'll see. They might be right. I don't think the difference between the business day on Friday and the business day on Monday is much to be too worried about. Thanks, Thomas. All right, here we go. An article from Salah, the Prime Minister advisor. They're just talking about how secure they are. They're talking about the amount of debt held by the government, how the government has more money than it has debt, etc. Gets into some of the figures of how many dinar they hold. And I think this is important. I think they do these on purpose so that people realize what the bank holds. Which, all right, how do I explain this one for it to make sense? All right, okay, I got this one. Just gonna just spit it out, and you guys can help me refine that thought. They want you to know how many dinar they're holding. They want you to know what their projects cost, their budget costs. So when the value changes, the people already know. They'll be like, you have 46 trillion dinar, I think the figure was. That means that all this debt that's out there or ever out there is gone. You hold way more dinar, way more money than there is debt. You're in phenomenal footing. And this is important because we've been seeing more stories about parallel rates. And this is one we're going to touch on because we continue now for days in a row in Iraq. We are seeing a different exchange rate than the CBI is telling us, which I think is critical. We're going to get into that one. Don't worry. We've got a couple more things to touch on. Iraq's entry into SWIFT platform led to market stability and prevented currency smuggling. They want us to know that all of their reforms worked. Everything they put into place worked. They have reined in their currency smuggling in and out of the country. They now have control over their dollars. These things are important. Now, the parallel market one, what I'm getting at, what we are seeing in the real streets, we're seeing about 1,050 dinar roughly per dollar. The official rate is 13. That means that the people are holding on to their dinar at a greater rate than the bank. They don't want to let it go. This is important. Why is this important? We have heard for some time now that there was a possibility because people weren't de-dollarizing quickly enough that they may have to drop the rate again. The government floated it out there at 1132 and made a statement that they were going to change the rate if that's what it was required to make the parallel markets or the markets parallel in the pricing. But the market has already done that. The people have already figured that one out. And I'm getting that from different regions, both from the Erbil region, Baghdad, many different regions on that one, that they're trading somewhere around 1,050. So they're not going to need, based on what I'm seeing, another rate cut before they pull the trigger. We're also getting a lot of news out of Iraq that they are fully Section 8 compliant, that they have finished it, they are out of it. This is another key piece. This means that is done, and we are seeing HCL. I believe at this point, they've already passed the budget. I could be wrong. I think the government of Iraq, the GOI, is sitting on some huge news. They are simply going to announce it and announce a rate change soon, based on what I'm seeing and the key milestones that we need to see crossed there for them to be able to announce it. Why is this important? Why do I keep talking about Iraq? Iraq knows that they forced this whole thing to move forward. They know that if the U.S. had its way and the European Central Bank had it their way, they would kick this can into oblivion, and the people of Iraq would continue to suffer, and all of their oil revenues would go to fat bankers in the U.S. and the U.S. government rather than to the Iraqi people. So Iraq is doing everything to force this issue. They're going to get out from underneath the yoke no matter what. That's a good thing for you and I, because it forces a culmination. It drags these other can kickers along, whether they want to go or not. Picture, mom grabbing that unruly kid by the ear and dragging them out of the room. Really excited about what we are seeing in Iraq, especially with what we are seeing in that rate. The people are fully adopting and getting rid of the dollar. We're seeing $10.50 for a dollar. You can go to the bank and trade in your dollars for 13. Go on the street and get more value from them. This is big news, guys. I started seeing those first reports over the weekend on Saturday, and being able to confirm more of them on Saturday and Sunday. On Sunday and Monday, made me feel really good about sharing that news today. Also, all the chatter about Section or Article 8, whatever you guys want to call it. Very excited because we are moving that way, floating on a cloud. Bearcat, I'm getting close to it. I've got such a contentment over where we're at. The only thing that mars my contentment are stories like Gary, the 82-year-old folks still live. It just drives me. It hurts me as a human being. But I feel really good about where we are at and the progress we are suddenly making after dragging. Let's get to it. This one I just found interesting. Tier employees in Suleimania go on strike for not receiving monthly salaries. This is another thing that is going to force the issue to the head. They finish their holiday, boom, no paychecks. They're supposed to already have paychecks. They need their budget finished to get their paychecks. This won't last long. The people in Iraq don't take it. That's why I think here, before our week is out, you're going to see miraculous movement and budget. Oh, wait, we already have it passed. We've already agreed. Bam, these people get paid, and we start seeing what we're looking for. Barrels of gold at Baghdadi's farm, $1 million are hidden. At least $1 million US hidden there, they think. Secret caches, large quantities of gold and money. Boy, I tell you, that's farm life. I'm headed there. I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to include it. Now we can take off the banner, bounce back to you guys, take about a 30-second break, say hello. Someone was new to this. How would they know you're not just pulling their chain? They'd actually have to do a little read the articles. I put up the links, and maybe 2%, 3% of you guys actually read the links. You just listen. So you don't read all the articles. You don't read the economic articles. You don't read the ones about, and I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about people in general. They have all the tools. They have all the information literally put right in front of them. It's the proverbial, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. If they want to know I'm not pulling their chain, they could actually read the articles. Here's the thing, they won't. They don't. It's much easier for them to keep their narrow mind and their narrow belief structure. The human mind has a need to stay with what it knows, what is comfortable, the status quo. So when it is presented with something new, call it a defense mechanism maybe, it tries to run back to that. It knows a world without prosperity. It knows a world of suffering. It knows a world of whatever. It's going to run back to that. It's uncomfortable to change. It's just like changing a habit. You have to change how you operate until it becomes, and sometimes that could take days, weeks, months. You have to change how you think, and it's too difficult for these people. They are stuck in their condition. It really is a sad thing. When did men and women, when did humanity stop striving with open minds? But it's right in front of them. They just have to read it. You don't have to accept it yet. Read it. Think you'll find some really cool, amazing things. All right, let's get to these banking crashes. First Republic laid bare the extent of banking turmoil, braced for more jitters. Guys, Barron's, one of the most respected financial publications out there. Man, did they pick up on it for a article today. Of course, I told them Saturday it was going to happen. Investors are being served a reminder of the trouble in the hammered banks last month as money moves. And this bank bailout, guys, really cool, right? It kept the run on liquidity. All it did was kick the can on the bank's survival. A few weeks, month, maybe 2 months, it came at a price. These banks were already struggling. Now people are moving some money in order to handle a bank because they don't have as much customer free money that they're paying next to no interest on. They have to borrow it from the Fed at a higher rate. So now the banks are even less profitable than they were before. Think of it as an any day payday loan. Once you get into taking those, you're pretty well screwed. People rarely ever climb out of that. You take it in desperation. I mean, hell, they offer any day payday loans now for your groceries, which is becoming very, very troublesome in Europe and the UK now. We have many people there that are literally eating on credit. And that comes at a price. That comes at a usury rate that's much higher than you can afford to pay. This is what the banks are doing. The banks are beginning any payday loans now for 6 weeks, and the cost of their money has shot through the roof. And that rooster is coming home to roost. You'll hear it out there crowing soon. Wolf of Wall Street did one. First Republic discloses it's a zombie. It is. It's the Walking Dead. They can't afford to cover their new rates. They're getting those theoretically cheap loans, but it's not as cheap as paying you guys 1% for your savings. Now they got to pay a couple of percent for their money, and they're borrowing it daily. It's getting expensive for them. On the other banking woes, United Bank of Switzerland gears up for record-breaking gain once Credit Suisse closes. Aha! That's what they're telling you. The problem is they figured out they got stuck with a pig in the poke, and they don't know if they can continue to be profitable because of the amount of losses that are attached to Credit Suisse. Guys, keep watching this story. It could break the back of European banking at any moment. They're just hoping people do not notice. And this is a tough one because the banking woes become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know, glasses on, off. Can't wait for med beds when I don't need them for seeing what you guys say. Because of the way the banks are structured, because they're living on fractional money they don't have. They don't physically have your deposits. They loan it out, they move it, they fractionally move it out. So it's an exponential problem when people go to the bank and take their money out. You're taking out what was backing. You pull $100, you're taking out money that was backing $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. So when you pull your money out, it's bigger than you just pulling out $100. You might as well be pulling $3,000 out of them. I mean, you are pulling the banker's teeth when you take money out of the banking system. They understand that some of it is necessary for day to day for people to have faith in the bank. They pay their bills, etc. Wash, rinse, repeat. But it becomes a self-fulfilling demise as people start going to the banks. And I can't tell you not to go to the bank. I can tell you the health of that bank. But here's the problem. When I tell you the health of the bank, I tell you how bad the problem is. That means you pull your money out. When you pull your money out, the bank's in even worse condition than it was before. And that's where it becomes self-fulfilling. When you share the news, they're hoping that nobody will talk about this, that everybody will just pretend everything is okay, and then there won't be a crisis or a run on the banks. But the reality is it's not okay. They don't have the assets to prop it up, not without printing it willy-nilly free money. And that is what they signaled they're going to do. They're just hoping they don't have to print it quickly, because as we run, they got to print more. and that just speeds up the demise. They are hoping nobody watches. All right, now I'm going to keep going. City analysis foresee unwavering bull market for silver. There was a good one in Economic Times. I'm going to drag it over here. Probably should have included it as well. Silver is the new gold for your portfolio. Can hit. This is based on, let's see, it's what is there? The rupee, not the rupiah, but the rupee. So silver's the new gold in Mumbai and in India, guys. Gold has become almost unobtainium, so they have started loading up on silver and silver quickly on the streets. There you, I mean, you've got two different publications, different parts of the world looking for silver to continue to run and run hard, which means fiat is running the other direction. Lawrence, I just saw this one. Pray for Maddie, a 14-year-old girl from my church. She has a brain tumor, had to remove it 2 years ago. It came back, and they cannot do anything but use meds. They have sedated her because of the pain. Oh, Lawrence, prayers. This is one of those we need the miracle for. GG, we are moving to Florida, taking cash out every day, max amount. They freak out. That, yeah, they do. What are you doing with it? You're playing in the overtime. Think about this, guys. You have to explain. I mean, we're talking about good, proper patriot. We're not talking about some crazy militarized person, Antifa nutbag that's going to run out there, or some crazy unhinged trans person that's going to shoot up a school. We're just like normal everyday people, right? We're taking our kids to soccer practice, going to see our kids play softball, going to church on Sunday. And we get grilled because we want to do something with our own money. Because you want to get your own money. It's none of their damn business what you do with your money. Nobody's ever going to get me to think differently than that. I'm not. Period. SoCo Gal, yes, I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. See here, look at that little chat. It says YouTube. We're over at Trolling News Network. For you guys that haven't been around long, that is the channel. Anyways, kind of a backup, kind of a secondary channel, whatever you guys want to call it. Not trying to get around the YouTube censors. They spanked me. I understand why they did. Do I believe it's deserved? Hell no. But I understand the system, understand the control that they have put in place. So I'll play their game. I got better plans, but I'll play their game for Harry. Thank you for that super sticker. Dazzo, just make up something hilarious to mess with them. Yeah, Dazzo, I mean, what's acceptable is you're going to blow the money. Now, if you were going to go spend it, I don't know, by, Freedom Seeds or Boom Boom Sticks or something, then they need to know, because maybe you're getting crazy. But just tell them, say, hey, the wife's really taken to strippers and cocaine. And, as the husband, it's a good time. So, we're just blowing it. We're pulling out the money so that we can go down to the strip club. Tell them that. Tell them you want to go donate it down for the next trans book reading down at the local library. I mean, just have fun with them, right? I mean, since those things are acceptable to spend it on, maybe then they'll give you extra and stop asking questions. I got to keep going. I'm having too much fun. It's a defund the global police moment. Jen says de-dollarization is happening at a stunning rate. It is. I didn't even think about this one, because we are taking it out for an operation. Operation Save My Money. Navy, please be careful with your saltiness. The other channel warned us that he would simply ban people. Oh, no, that one was funny. It's none of their business. Never has been. I'm trying to read some of these. I'll be back with you guys in a second. I'm reading a few. Deboater for a world is not salty. You seem a bit salty. It's the injustice that they have done to everybody's. The injustice. We're putting in a stripper pole to teach the kids about real life. I'm loving these. I'm having a little bit of tough. Brandlin, no info that has changed since yesterday. You are welcome to go back and reference yesterday on Bond People. Nothing new today since yesterday. Let's see. Gold price still being manipulated? Absolutely. CDs. I'm not a fan of certificate of deposits. I'd rather put it in a money market because at least a money market has some assets to back it up. That's my thoughts. Ted says Air Force vet here. Ted, thank you for your service. Massive overnight fire in downtown Statesville. I had not heard that. Patriot Mom, I had not heard that one. Statesville doesn't get enough love. One great soccer complex there. It's kind of like a 40 and 77 crossroads. Has a really quaint little old downtown. All right, I need to get back to it. Dow down 83. Mr. C, all I know is he's not been paid yet. And now the Iraqis want to spend their, yeah, absolutely. They want to be able to spend their NAR. I am having fun reading your comments. Let me get back to it. Now we are getting back to it. All right. Doesn't this make sense? It's a defund the global police moment. The U.S. has been acting as global police. They have been sometimes abusive police, weapons of mass destruction, sanctions, controlling money in different countries. You can argue that we are responsible. This one's a tough one. And sometimes I think when we do sanctions, they're for the right reason. But you can argue because you can't control others, but we have a need to control others, whether it's regime change, whether it's sanctions, whether it's whatever. But you can argue that the U.S. people are responsible for starving Cubans, for starving, I don't know, Russians, for starving Venezuelans. You could place that argument pretty well. You could place it for responsible for the great uprising in Northern Africa when we overthrew Gaddafi. You can make that argument. So I see this defund the global police moment when I started reading this article. I was like, this makes sense. But it is because of that move from the dollar and the very quick move to de-dollarize that is happening at a pace that 99% of economists did not think was possible, but they're watching it play out and they're still sitting in disbelief, pretending they're not watching what they're watching and commenting, hey, it's got to slow down. We have longer. The dollar's not going to continue to crash at this pace. And then it speeds up the next day. Then you read another one. So I'm finding this one very interesting. Great little read in an article. Great little read, I thought. Michael, Andy has been penning the book. He comes back May 10th. He has been writing book. If he can get his book finished in time, he has part of a book he is writing with Robert Kiyosaki presently. And they feel pressed to get it out because they're trying to get as many people into metals, real estate, you name it, as possible so that they don't lose money or so that they gain if there's a crash. They've taken it as a personal goal to save as many people as they can on that front, and that's where he's been. You probably missed it when I told everybody where he's been. All right, now let me get back to it. Does Andy need a netter? No, I think he's got everything squared away. All right, let's get back to Tucker Carlson now, fired by Lachlan Murdoch. Here's what we know. Oh, this one's just fun. So was it Big Pharma that got him in trouble? Was Robert Kennedy right? Fox fires Tucker 5 days after he crosses the red line by, acknowledging. Let's get back here. I just screwed that one up, right? Nah, we can just close that one out. For talking about the lollipops, is that what he went for? Did he go because he leashed out at CIA? We do know that just days before he was released, that BlackRock bought a large stakeholder share up their amount of stock in Fox. They owned up to what I think 15%. We also know that BlackRock owns a large portion of Dominion. So in this crazy Dominion suing Fox, Fox is paying Dominion, Dominion's making the money, and BlackRock owns them both. Isn't that curious? Does anybody see a concerted move to own both sides of this thing and to monetize both sides? To me, they just got a windfall. Fox gets to write it off as a loss. They get to take it as a profit. I'm telling you, this whole thing stinks to high heaven. And then we see a flat out war that starts on Trump. Now let's get to that one, because this one is curious. Decision on Trump indictment to be announced in the near future. Fulton County DA ramps things up. This is all happening, guys, in about a 48-hour time span. They go after the news outlets. I mean, heck, they're shaking them up at CNN. They're shaking them up at Fox big time, which is the biggest conservative news source out there. They're going after them at a record level. Now, we've got another piece that I think really plays into this one, and I think that they did a great job. The author did, or writer on that one, in thinking. But isn't this curious? Now we get yet another lawsuit to go after. It is an all-out battle. The war is raging around you, the information war, and you guys are going to have to be adept at reading through the BS. But you can go into that one if you want to get the details on it. News blackout in effect. This is what I am talking about. Particularly, they have moved this week to control all press. I mean, in a big way. AOC, everybody calling. We've got to censor more. We got to censor more because of disinformation. That doesn't make much sense, does it? The Michael Morell story is disposed of by press janitors. They are trying to shut this one up. Morell is the one that came out and said, hey, yeah, remember? I got leaned on. Blinken called me up and said, hey, you got a link. You got to make this happen. I need you to sign a letter, pen a letter, and get intelligence people to sign it, saying that this has the earmarks of Russian disinformation, that they are trying to sow this, even though now we know it was a very accurate story, extremely accurate, and they had lots of proof, and the FBI knew it was accurate, but they still penned these letters and leaned on them. This is suddenly out of the news. We're more worried about Tucker Carlson. We're more worried about, I don't know, Don Lemon. And I really think the Don Lemon firing was just a side note, diversionary tactic to say, hey, it's not only happening to conservatives. That's just my thought. I could be wrong. But isn't it interesting that they have buried the story that the current administration and the intelligence communities manipulated things to affect an outcome of a process? Boy, do I hate holding back words. But they have silenced this story very effectively in the last few days, and they have been willing to spend quite literally billions of dollars to bury this story. It's up to us to not let the story stay buried. You're not going to be able to retweet this one, so you can retruth it. You can talk about it on Twitter, though, not the story in effect, but you can say, hey, what happened to Morell's story? You know, last thing I heard, there was a concerted effort to affect the information we got or didn't between people in the intelligence community. We got to do something along those lines. We've got to continue to make it a front page and not allow them to win on the silencing front. You can't let them, exactly, Thomas, we cannot let the truth about Biden's criminal son go away. No, because he's part of it. He used his son as a front man based on what we are seeing and the evidence presented so far. I'm with you. Lemon deserved it. What do they want to know about Susan Rice? I've already talked about Susan Rice. Yes, Susan Rice was pulling the strings, suddenly gone. Does that mean she's preparing for something bigger? Does that mean we are about to see, and this is what I think you're going to see, I think you are about to see Kamala step away for whatever reason, and Susan Rice step into Kamala Harris's. She fits the bill, minority female. And it doesn't matter what your qualifications are in the Biden administration. It's all about the optics. I think it's a preparation to see Susan Rice step into Kamala's shoes so that they can still kill off Joe if he somehow wins the election. That's what I think. Or I don't mean necessarily kill him. I mean, remove him from the scene. Oh, he's crazy. He took a fall. He fell off the bike. He got hit by the ice cream truck. He really is. We didn't think it was dementia, but it is. We're sorry. He's stepping down. That's my theory on that one. All right, let's keep going. Huge biological risk after Sudan fighters occupy lab, according to the World Health Organization. You know, guys, I was asking you yesterday what you thought. You know, why did we just, in effect, declare war in parts of Africa with an executive order? And this just screamed, why? It always seems to come back to the biological labs, right? Biolabs. And here we go from the World Health Organization. This is a scary thing. World Health Organization said Tuesday that fighters in conflict-ravaged Sudan had occupied the National Public Laboratory, holding samples of disease, including polio and measles, creating extremely dangerous situations. The fighters kicked out all the technicians from the lab, which is completely under the control of one of the fighting parties as a military base, said Nima Saeed Abid, the WHO's representative in Sudan. How many freaking biolabs do we need doing this kind of research around the world? Every time we turn around, every time there's a conflict in some part of the world, we find out they have one of these labs. Is anybody paying attention? Yeah, you can't say whatever you want. Guys, you got to remember that too in your chat. You've got to be careful on what you say in chat as well. Gypsy Maid, I've said this one's over so many times that I feel like my head is going to implode. Like I am one of those David Letterman melons. They're dropping off the top of the studio building and it's exploding. Confused, the dollar's dead. Why do we want it? When Mr. C signs, then the dollar is no longer dead. It is. They call it the refunding of the dollar, and it goes back on the gold standard. Is our dollar dead now until there's a reset? Yes. Does this make sense? I pray to the God above that I'm getting through to everybody on this one, because that is one of the most asked questions I get. All right. In other words, yes, the dollar is dying. If we don't reset soon, if we don't go back to sound money, then the dollar is going to die. That's what we're getting at. We're counting on them resetting the dollar. If they don't, and they just RV and they don't reset our dollar, that's what I mean by you're going to need to scramble to unload your dollars and get assets so that you're protected. I'm praying I'm getting through, because I do not want you guys missing that one. This is a very important one. Why did, all right, you guys may not understand why I find this story so funny. Why didn't 3 customers get emergency alert? Cabinet Office launches probe into why up to 10 million mobile users did not hear alarm following the mass confusion as a news bulletin in London Marathon are interrupted with some devices sounding early. There was just a big EAS announcement or test going on in the UK. 3 is the name of a cellular company there. So, you know, we've got what do we have? We got, like, you know, Sprint, AT&T, T-Mobile. 3 is the name of one of those companies. It doesn't mean there were only, you know, 3 people didn't get it. It's capitalized, right? All right, I'm having fun with this story. I know that it does affect us because we keep hearing EAS, emergency. We're going to have emergency broadcasts around the world. They need to make certain the system works, blah, 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 blah. But why this is fun to me, do you guys know many people from London or the UK? Most of them have a difficult time with TH. It comes out as an F. So it comes out as free instead of 3. My good buddy Aubrey is one of those. And depending, especially if they're like from the Cockney area, they almost all do it. So I get a kick out of this. This is kind of like the founder of Lululemon that was kind of straight up trolling Asians when he based company a lot of operations there, because they have tough times with L's that come out as W's, woos. So with woo-woo women. And he did it kind of as like, all right, this is kind of funny. And he named it that. And he's still very successful and hadn't been canceled for it. But I'm getting a kick out of this cellular company called 3 when they're all running around. Oh, you have free cellular. I wonder if that causes any confusion for people that are coming. Oh, wait, how do you get free cellular when you come to the UK? All right. I had fun with that one. I thought it was funny, but it was a test. See, not my name. I mean, does anybody else have the same messed up sense of humor I have? Yeah, free fitty. Exactly, Dazzo. I thought it was funny. I know I'm supposed to be reading it going, hey, this could have some effect on us because we're expecting an emergency broadcast to inform people, but yeah, I was too busy. Tucker for VP. Oh, that's another one I forgot to touch on, guys. We are getting a lot of leaks. I don't know if you guys have gotten them. I don't know if they are showing up heavily yet on, I don't know, Telegram chat rooms or wherever else. There are very credible rumors from very credible individuals that are very close to both Tucker Carlson and Trump that they are setting the stage for Tucker to be the running mate for Donald Trump for 2024. Pros, cons. I mean, it is going to polarize the left. If you wanted to find a way to get people on the left to show up, I mean, you're going to pick their two biggest triggers in the world, and it is going to be Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson on the same ticket. I mean, minds are going to implode at a rate in which you cannot imagine. Can you imagine Mitt Romney seething? He's going to need a whole new set of depends. No, yes, hard to believe it. Tucker 2-0. So it's all over the platforms. I'm just getting a kick out of all these. And why not? I mean, you just want to have fun with them. Just throw it out there, throw the rumor out there, even though you have absolutely no intention of going there. Never heard a Brit with the issue of pronouncing TH. Sometimes sounds like they take the H out, like Thames. Maybe it's just I know many from the Cockney area or region in the UK, but every one of them have a tough time with the TH. Tucker for the press secretary. Fred thinks it's all BS. Oh, the rumor mill's going crazy, and I'm having fun with it. Just watch it. It's all part of the movie. Cat Turd or James Woods. How about James Woods or Cat Turd for VP? It depends. Make them 55-gallon drum capacity. Trump, Kerry Lake. Yeah, I'm warming up to the Tulsi Gabbard one. And I know, man, a lot of people are like, no, 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 but she's this or that. I think she's genuine. I think she is genuine in that her party used her and she didn't realize she was being used, in a sense, turned a leaf on that one. I could be wrong totally. I've missed the boat on a few of them completely. But that to me would allow a lot of those center thinking Democrats, especially Hispanics and the black community that are on the border, because they see Biden saying this, they've historically voted Democrat, but they see it walking away from their morals, their code. They're pro family, they are, pro church, and the left is very much going after, it seems, those communities. I think it would allow a lot of line jumping. And Tulsi Gabbard believes in making America great again. I thinks we should put America first. So for me, that's where I'm at right now in the thinking process. I'd rather just go ahead and get Nasera Jacera, clean the whole house, and start from scratch. But hey, we'll do what we got to do. Chuck Schumer does think he is God, and he is going to be even more emboldened after the Tucker stepping away or being removed. And the rumors within Fox is, let's see. Yeah. How can a Dem in politics and not know how evil they are? I think she started figuring out very quickly when she got into politics. Of course, she came from a small area, Hawaii, so it's probably tougher to see. You weren't subject to the political machines that are Chicago and New York and etc. Mandela alert. It is depend, not depends now. Oh, Rob S., you can't mess with me like this. Are those adult diapers just Depend diapers, not Depends? But if you buy a whole box, is it Depends instead of Depend, or are you just buying a box of Depend? Oh, Rob. I'm not going to be right all day now. No news specific to the Zim, guys. No news specific to the Zim, the Bolivar. It's as far as I am still hearing, it is all lumped in and going together. It depends on how you look at it, right? I guess that depends. I love you guys. If you can't laugh, how are you going to get through this one? Rick, Booger answered that. Rick and Tina, Booger answered that one for you. What's the difference between the current administration push for digital currency and the digital QFS system? One will be transparent and based on assets. If Joe Biden were somehow, this administration were somehow able to win, it would be fiat, and it would allow them to turn your money on, turn your money off. It would allow them to give you a social credit score if you didn't vote the way they wanted you to, if you didn't say what they wanted. If you consume too much, they could turn it off. You couldn't buy meat. They were only allowed to use certain things. It would expire if you don't use it. Theirs is about control. These are two competing outcomes. You've heard us talk about the reset, and then you've heard us talk about the Great Reset, which is what they want to call it. They tried to hijack our terms and twist it to their own to their own evil ways. My God is control. My God, I love these people in here. It's Depend. Just look at the box. I mean, Angel, you invest with me. This is crazy. Pickle just looked it up. Look, see, Pickles, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm supposed to have Dr. Rich here for a few minutes here in just a short bit. I got to wrap up. I got like a hard time at 11:15. I've got to wrap today, so I'll probably try to squeeze him in a few minutes early after I do happy birthday. But you messed with me, that Depend thing. I mean, I'm certain I can get through the rest of the show. Joy Boss, yeah, no, when I hear about, well, I mean, she shook me up too. Someone living in their truck at 82 years old really bothers me. There's 89,400 seconds in a day. Can we all just take 30 seconds a day to be grateful for the things we take for granted? Amen. We think about how bad we've got it. We can't go upgrade our phone. The second car isn't reliable, et cetera, et cetera. We all think about the woes we're going through. College is coming up, but we got a roof over our head. It's, to some people, our problems would be world-class, amazing miracles for them. It does. We do need to be thankful for what we still have, guys. And we got to figure out how to help as many people as we can. Bugger Joe, get back to work. Love you, man. Drop the S and Depends to save money on printing ink. I figured it was just foreshadowing 72Z. They probably dropped the S because they're slowly scaling down how many are a box. Maybe the box used to come with 2 dozen. Now it comes with 18. Maybe they plan on selling them one by one soon. Maybe. See, Jim, you guys, you get where I'm going with that one. Maryland, yes, try to help where we can pre-RV. If it is, and some of you guys have already started sending some pictures of your tomatoes, your gardens, your whatever, and I'm loving it. It's so very important in my opinion. The one thing you can do that will affect the world the most is grow your own food. The level of control they have over you when they control your food, your access, you're hungry, your what's in the food, your access to it is nuts. You also look at the environmental impact of that. If everybody had a victory garden whether it was just a couple of pots of tomatoes or cucumbers or zucchini or whatever, it quite literally could change the world. It would offset more CO2 than we create, than all the cars in the world create now, just by everybody doing a victory garden. So when the globalists tell you that the world's ending, but they're trying to control your access to seeds, it's disingenuous. If your government cared about you, like some other governments around the world, they'd be telling you to plant a garden. I mean, World Health Organization, their own WHO, is telling us that we're about to have a food crisis of, well, they don't use the word biblical, but I'm going to use the word biblical proportions, and that many, many people, millions of people around the world, perhaps billions, will be starving. Now they want to go after rice, but nobody is looking you in the eye and saying, grow a garden. I don't care if you've got a few extra pounds and being in the garden is a bad thing. It's going to help you. Now, I do understand some people are simply too physically challenged to do it. If it's a choice and there's something you can do about it, get in better shape, grow your own garden. Tucker for Speaker of the Senate. There's a clenching exercise that eliminates the need for depends. All right, clench, clench. Hoops for you. All right, somebody's paying attention to the economics of what's going on. Real estate thrived off the banker's fractional banking system. It goes away with Goldback and Basel III implementation. Will reduce home buyers' ability to obtain loans with low down loans, might cause a reduction in purchasing, thus less buyers, lower real estate values. And real estate values are greatly inflated because that is what they have used to support much of their system. That's how they've used as an asset to fractionalize. In the loans, no, it does. The good news is, after a short bit, it will equalize and make homes more attainable. In other words, you'll be able to buy one. If you work hard, you'll be able to pay for it in 5 years or 10 years instead of 30 and 40 years. Have you seen some of the length of some of the mortgages out there? I mean, hell, there's some companies out there now that give you a 50-year mortgage so that you can get in a house that's way bigger than you should be. Your soul's mortgage until you die, and you now have to work until you die. Do you remember when it was 20 years? If you went and worked hard for a company, that company cared about you, you put in 20 years. People used to retire in their 40s. I know this is nuts. It happened all the time. They got the gold watch, they got the pension, the company cared about them. This is what we've got to bring back. We got to bring back compassionate capitalism. That's the only thing that's going to bust corpocracy. We've got to have more people owning businesses that care about their employees. And I know capitalism is unfeeling. Capitalism's this. No, capitalism is agnostic. Capitalism depends on the person yielding it. It's just like a tool, just like a gun. The gun doesn't get up on its own and shoot somebody. Some evil person has to pick it up and do it. The gun can save people. It can save you from a robber. It can save your 2-year-old on vacation when you're camping out in Yellowstone from getting eaten by a bear. A gun doesn't care whether you use it for good or for bad. Money is the same way. It doesn't care whether you use it for good or whether you use it for bad. It doesn't matter to the money. The money's agnostic. What matters is what you do with it. And when it comes to business, we've got to have more owners that care about the people, which is why I want to see so many of you guys open businesses. We've got to do the right thing. We can't wait for somebody else to do the right thing. We got to start doing the right thing at every level. Tacoma, that's what we call taco trucks, Tacoma trucks. Let's see. I love watching on my 55-inch TV. The benefit is I can mute you when you sing and my dogs won't howl. Love you, mean it. Tacoma, I'm ready to give up singing. I need to just record a few copies of it and then hit the button. You do need, when the bears are big, you need to be properly prepared for the big bears. RWB, put 23 years in corporate. Same company now, work for myself, will hire others. Like it. What leftists call capitalism is actually crime and corruption. No, it is. It's corpocracy. They keep blaming where we're at. They keep blaming capitalism. Capitalism has been twisted into some corporate socialism. It is not in any way a free market. I can't. All right, you're in the United States, guys, and you want to start a company. You got to get this permit, that permit. You got to see if there's other businesses already like. That's not a free market. A free market allows competition, which forces the market to be more fair. For instance, during the labor disputes of the early 1900s, they had children working, they had people working crazy hours, getting paid next to nothing, barely surviving. And the corporations were doing this to people. It was not much better than slavery, to be honest with you. And then Henry Ford did something crazy, and I believe it was a $5 a day. He said, hey, a living wage is this. And he started paying 2 or 3 times what all of his competitors were paying for labor because he believed people should. And I'm not, this huge Henry Ford fan or whatever. I'm just using this as an example for how free markets work. That changed the face of what every company, every major corporation, from JP Morgan Steel Company, from Carnegie, to every one of them, what they could pay people and get away with it. And suddenly the wages went up and people could live. The factory worker had a hope of, working 20 years and retiring. Changed everything. I got in trouble for spitting truth. No, I hit a button on the side of my mouse. I got to figure out what that button is and disable it. So I'm back. Let's present these things. It is time for me to sing and get Dr. Rich in here as quickly as I can. So your birthday, people, Jeremy, a number of others. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, make all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Aviator, your thoughts, all the truth you're saying the White House is empty. I'm saying things aren't right there, but it is not empty and is sometimes used. I can't wait to get to the real truth. All right, Susie, you are welcome to all those celebrating. For those that would like to stick around, I'm going to bring him in. It's going to take me a minute to pull up screens. When I hit my button, I just wiped out everything I had saved over here, Dr. Rich. So I'm going to put you front and center. I'm going to start you with a question or two because I've got a couple that has, I've had some other people ask me these questions, so I want to ask them. I'm going to put you big. You should still be able to hear me. I've had a number of people asking me why Dr. Rich came out of retirement. You're sitting there happily retired, school teacher.
I lost you.
Now he's not moving. Now he's moving.
Yeah, I'm moving. Yeah, I'm not hearing you, Mark.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
I was just asking you because I've had a couple other people. Why did Dr. Rich come out of retirement? I mean, you were happily retired. It's not like you needed the money. You had a nice pension and everything from your years of working. So I had a number of people, hey, why did Dr. Rich come out of retirement? So I thought I'd ask you that one while I go try to fix links and let you answer that one while I take care of technical stuff.
Okay, that won't take me long to answer that, but I spent a couple of years as a teacher, and then the rest of my time as a public school administrator. I was a principal and had the profound responsibility and opportunity and privilege of evaluating some of the very best educators in the state and a few of the worst. But I loved teaching. I still love teaching. So why I came out of retirement? Well, when I received the link, Mark, and you have the link, abcgotit.com/the original Mark Z. But the only video I watched was Dr. McCord in the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. And if you're not going to abcgotit.com/the original Mark Z, you're missing it. Because when I heard Dr. McCord say in that video, Mark, and Tippy and I were watching it, and we had a need for our dog. And when he said this nutrigenomic approach that I took 45 years to create through research with my team works for everyone at every age, regardless of your diagnosed condition. Take a yellow tablet once a day with breakfast, and look at all the research that I've determined and validated over all these years. It's really that simple. And I looked at Tippy and I said, Tippy, we've tested so many people over and over again, in and out, back and in. Oh, first initial consultation, back in 2 weeks, back in a month, back over the weekend, sometimes back on Sunday. Market never ended. It was so much work. But we weren't able to help everybody, even though we were very successful. And what I learned over the years is this is the easiest approach to taking control of your health that I have ever looked at, experienced, utilized in my career. And that's why I did it, because it's so easy and simple, and I don't have to do any more testing. I just have to teach, and I love to teach. And that's why I have a site like yours. But abcgotit.com/the original Mark Z. I always tell people, watch the top video first, the bottom video second, the middle video third. And Mark, there's more information in there by the 3 doctors than, and it only takes you 30 minutes to watch them. But, and Dr. McCord always said, there is one way that this won't work, and that's if you choose not to activate your cells and increase your gene expression. If you don't take it, it won't work. But I will end the answer to that question with this. What takes me the most time with all of my clients that call in is I have to teach them. You've got to drink water. You've got to eat right according to your blood type. And I will push that till the cows come in, because I know it works. I've had so many testimonies. I know over the past 3 years what has happened. And then you've got to eliminate today what you eat yesterday in a timely fashion. Then activate. I mean, Mark, when you do that, it's pretty simple.
I hear you. All right. I got another question for you as I'm sitting here watching questions scream past. How many people have you consulted? How many questions? I mean, have you ever kept up with how many phone calls you've made? How many people have called you saying, hey, this is going on, and they've done very well, based on the advice you've given them, the nutritional advice?
Mark, I never dreamed that what happened would happen. I mean, we just decided, we're not going to charge for our services. This is something that is so exciting. Let's just go out and start teaching one person at a time, or helping their dog or horse or whatever. I remember the first check we got from LifeVantage was $11. And it was like, wow, look at that. We got $11 doing something we really enjoy. We didn't care about the money. But I can tell you over 26,000 people in the last 5.5 years. And when we came out of retirement, Tippy and I said, let's do this for a year or two. Let's have some fun with it. It's going to be 6 years in November. 6 years of doing this. But, and that's why, Mark, here's the advantage to working with, yes, there is I have an answer to the prostate problem. So hang on a second. Tim Law too. When you work with 26,000 people, when you start suggesting how to drink water and eat right and eliminate correctly, and then how to activate, and they tell you they have a certain disease that was diagnosed, well, then you got 10 of those people, or 12, and then 15 and 50 and 100 of each. There's 249 diseases. I kind of have worked with people that had them all. The advantage to all this work and helping people is that, I mean, once they tell me what's wrong, what's been diagnosed, I can immediately, in 5 seconds say, okay, here's a good place to start. Take this and this and this, or just take this. Make sure you drink water, make sure you eat right, make sure you eliminate correctly, but start here. And then get back with me and let me know how you're doing in 30 days. That's what we did. So I can tell you without a doubt that I know what works for people. I know what they did. I know how they drank water, changed their diet, eliminated correctly. The gut biome is so important. But it's really that simple, Mark. If somebody in your stream today says, I have this problem, I'm not going into great detail, but I could tell them immediately where to start. And that's the advantage to all this work we've put in over all these years.
Now, bouncing back to you, I did just pull up a interesting one, and you've actually suggested things like this one, or that people research it, but you've also suggested through some other nutritionals and given some links to them in the past. But there's a lot of research on that word there. We call them Ivan for short, on many different cancers, but especially on prostate cancer as well. And you've suggested some of the effective ingredients there. I'm trying to remember what you had suggested to other people when you couldn't get that.
Okay, well, this person that's requesting help with prostate, it would certainly, if they could get it, wouldn't help to find Ivan and start taking it, because again, Mark, the research, the clinical research is there, the efficacy is there, it can't hurt. So what would they do? I mean, if they don't have high blood pressure, I would hit it as hard as you can, because prostate issues for men are rampant, but it's not that difficult to overcome. You do have to find a good prostate formula, take that at bedtime every day, aggressively for 30 days, and then as a maintenance after that. But I would use the Tri-Synergy pack if they didn't have high blood pressure, and take Ivan midday, later in the day, and a prostate formula at bedtime. And I mean, I just had a person that I worked with, couple maybe 2.5 months ago, that had colon cancer real bad. And we went down that road, and I counseled them, and they did what I suggested. They called back once and we tweaked it a little bit. I got a call 2 days ago, and this person went for their follow-up, and all of the CAT scans revealed no hot spots in the body. It was all gone. I mean, Mark, how do you put a price on that? How?
I don't see how you could possibly.
Again, I can't emphasize enough, folks. Please take the time to go to abcgotit.com/the original Mark Z. I mean, and Kukla can put links in there if you want to order some of these formulas. At least, I mean, everybody. Dr. McCord is the one in all his lectures who said, well, I'm not going to say it the way he said it, but I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want you to get in trouble. But he was the researcher, and 29 medical peer reviews, 13 medical patents protect this formula. He was awarded the Elliott Cresson Medal from the Franklin Institute for his research, more prestigious than the Nobel Peace Prize in medicine. But he said everybody needs to take that yellow tablet, and anyone over 30, I would agree. Well, imagine if everybody took one of those tablets, every single person over 30. Imagine, I'm not even going to go there. Imagine what would happen if they drank water, they ate right, and they eliminated correctly. Oh my, Mark. A lot of information on abcgotit.com.
And guys, it doesn't cost you a penny to call Dr. Rich, or to text Dr. Rich, or to text Stacy. Yeah, I mean, just if you've got something that's bothering you, reach out. You probably have answers.
And Mark, you'll never hear Stacy nor me say, you need to buy this, or this. That's not what we teach. We teach the research, and then let people make their own decisions. We can point them in the right direction, but that's not what we're all about. And your sister Stacy is, I wish I had 10 more.
Right.
I could retire.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And if more want to come on board, Dr. Rich would be all about some retirement. We just put up your information, Dr. Rich. I have to start wrapping you up. What do you want to, like, for the next minute or two? It's all yours. And then I've got to call it a morning. I've got an appointment to get to.
Well, I hope I answered the question for the fellow with the prostate issue. And if people want to, I'll be in and out today. But if you want to text me, if you call my cell phone, I can't answer it, or email me, or call the number she put up there. And I don't have time to take a half hour, 45 minutes with a whole bunch of people today. But if you call me and you're brand new to Mark Stream and you've been diagnosed with something, folks, I can tell you where to start. And then you can go to places like abcgotit.com/the original Mark Z and get your information. And if you don't, if you don't know how to order, then Mark Tippy has enrolled just a few people for you over the years.
Yeah, she's had a lot of practice.
She's had a lot of practice. Yeah, and I even know how to do it now. So I've graduated from just consulting to doing that. But it's really a simple process, folks. And I'll end with this. If somebody contacts me, Mark, and says it doesn't work, it's not working, well, you're probably doing something wrong. You're taking a bunch of supplements with it. You're taking one of the 5 ingredients in NRF2 additionally, and you can't do that. Maybe you're not drinking enough water or whatever. There's issues involved there. But the last thing I want to say is Dr. McCord always taught that if you're going to use a nutrigenomic approach, and what I mean by that is Protandim NRF2, NRF1, NAD, Omega Plus, ProBio, whatever, the benchmark formula NRF2, and then the layers of activation after that. You've got to take a nutrigenomic protocol 1 month for every 10 years of your life, every decade, to totally restore and repair all your cells. Mark, the best happens after that. Okay, with any, okay, all right.
Yeah, no, that was just for others. I did have one. I know there's not time. This person's going to text you later, but just says my dad has Waldenstrom's cancer. I've never heard of that, but just so you're prepared, because you're going to get a text from this person.
Okay, all right.
And as much as I want to keep going, I've got to wrap you up.
It's okay, Mark. I mean, look, folks, it's nobody ever said, well, nobody, it's not difficult or expensive to get well. And most of the things that you can do, it's like drinking water and changing your diet and eliminating correctly. This is, if you do the research, if you don't do those things, you're going to form disease. Your cells are going to become stressed and you're going to become diseased. So those are easy, but anyone can activate. You've got to do that after the age of 30. I don't care where you go, what you see, what you read. abcgotit.com/the original Mark Z will answer most of those questions. And folks, you can order from there if you want.
All right, Dr. Rich, thank you for taking the time. I hate to have you so short today, but all right.
It's all right.
Work and life calls, guys. See you all this evening at 7.